This video is for Lesson 8.1, Part 2. So if you are following along in your notes, this is going to be on the second page, the back of the page that we did yesterday. Okay, so we're going to focus on a very specific type of question today, a specific type of problem. All of these problems have fractions in them. So the directions here, and this is at the top of your second page, it says when solving an equation where the coefficient is a fraction, multiply by the reciprocal. Now this has a lot of vocabulary terms in it, so let's break this down a little bit. When solving an equation where the coefficient is a fraction, remember the coefficient is the number in front of a variable. So if the number in front of a variable is a fraction, we're going to solve this problem by multiplying by the reciprocal. If you remember from chapter 3, the reciprocal is when you flip the fraction upside down. So for example, if we have the fraction 2/3, the reciprocal of that fraction is 3/2. If we had negative 2/3, the reciprocal is negative 3/2. Reciprocals are not opposites. It's when we flip the fraction upside down. Okay, so you might want to write that down in your notes also, just as a reminder what the coefficient is and what a reciprocal is. Let's take a look at our first example. So here we have 4/5 m equals negative 9/10. Remember from yesterday's lesson, our goal here is to get the m by itself. So we want to get rid of this 4/5. What we're going to do is multiply by the reciprocal of 4/5, which is 5/4. So we're going to multiply on both sides by 5/4. The reason we do this is because what happens on this left side is the 5's cancel, the 4's cancel, and we are left just with the m, which is exactly what we want, so that we can find what the value of m represents. On the right side, you solve this just like a regular fraction multiplication problem. I can cross simplify, and then I just multiply, making sure that I look at my signs. Negative times positive is going to be a negative. 9 times 1, 2 times 4, negative 9/8, or negative 1 1/8. Let's try another example. This one is negative 18/15 equals negative 4/25 k. So on this problem, our k is on the right side. So the number we want to cancel is the negative 4/25. So remember, your goal is always to cancel the number in front of next to the variable. So here we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 4/25, negative 4/25. So the reciprocal of negative 4/25 is negative 25/4. So we're going to multiply both sides by negative 25/4. So let's look at the right side first. The 4's cancel, the 25's cancel, the negatives cancel to a positive, and we're left with just k. So remember, that's our goal. Our goal is to get rid of everything on this side except the k. So then over here we can cross simplify. 15 and 25 can both be divided by 5. And then we have a negative times a negative, which is going to be a positive. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 3 is 3. So 10/3, or you could do 3 1/3. Let's take a look at one other example. Now this one, we don't have a fraction as our coefficient. Remember, the coefficient is the number in front of the variable. But we do have a fraction over here. So negative, I'm going to start by converting this to an improper fraction. So negative 1 1/5 is negative 6/5. I'm still going to multiply this by the reciprocal. So I'm going to put a 1 under my 3, and I'm going to multiply both sides by whatever will get me to cancel out this negative 3 over 1. So what that would be is negative 1 over 3. So two negatives will make a positive, the 3's and the 1's cancel, and the m is left as a positive m. Over here we have cross simplify. Negative times negative will be positive, 1 times 2, and 1 times 5. Okay, so let's try a few examples. These are tricky problems, so take your time. For example 1, you should have multiplied both sides by 9 over 2. We'll put a 1 under the 4. The 2's and the 9's, they all cancel, leaving x. And then we can cross simplify. Negative 2 times 9 is negative 18. And then over 1 times 1, which is 1. So we can just write it as negative 18. Example 2, we're going to multiply this one by negative 2 over 1. Remember, the goal is to get rid of the number that's next to the x. So that's negative 1/2, so we flip that upside down. And we get rid of the 1's cancel, the 2's cancel, the negatives cancel, and we have just the x left. And then over here, we can cross simplify. And we have negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1, and 1 times 3, which is 3. So 1/3 for the second example.